So before I get into my review for the first episode of the Bad Batch series, I have a message for my subscribers. I am currently going through my exams right now, so I am super busy, which is why that I'm not posting as much or not uploading as much videos as I normally would do otherwise. So if you're wondering why there was, I was missing for some time, that's probably the reason. And my exams sort of run through the whole month, so I'll do my best to upload as frequently as possible, but I am in a really busy situation right now. So I hope you can understand about my schedule and my irregularity in my posting. And it will just only be for a really short moment, and after my exams, everything will sort of go back to normal. Anyways, let's get down to the review of the episode. Now, there were a lot of good things that I liked about this episode. I thought the artwork and animation was spectacular. It sort of took season 7 of the Clone Wars and sort of improved or maybe even continued some of the good qualities of that season, and it really was reflected in just the detail and sometimes those wide shots of the environment and characters. That was something that I really enjoyed. Overall, I really enjoyed the plot and especially how they set up Crosshair's betrayal. Well, it's not really a quote-unquote betrayal anymore, but sort of the idea that the Bad Batch's mutation sort of allows them to build up a natural resistance towards the inhibitor chips and behavioral controls. I thought that was a really clever way of explaining how the Bad Batch were able to resist the inhibitor chip. That being said, with the Crosshair situation throughout the episode, you could slowly sort of see that he was sort of struggling with that behavioral control. Like, he had some natural resistance, but it just wasn't enough for him to fully resist it like the other members could. And at the end, when sort of Tarkin sort of puts him under that machine to sort of increase the power of the inhibitor chip, it sort of sealed the deal and ensured that Crosshair would stay loyal to the Empire. And the way that I think Dave Filoni and the creative team have sort of depicted Crosshair's struggle and his sort of eventual change was really important and really well done as well. Especially the scene where sort of Omega comes over to Crosshair when he's in jail and just sort of lets him know that it's not his fault per se that he's feeling the way that he's feeling and the things that he's doing. Now, I also really enjoyed the depiction of the clones. After Order 66, you sort of see this 360 switch where the clones become incredibly stoic and ruthless, and so almost devoid of all emotion. And it created a really, jarring effect that sort of juxtaposes what you see before in the first few minutes of the episode and what you see later throughout the rest of the episode. I really enjoyed that, and it just gives them a more menacing feel that is much more suited for the era of the Empire. I really enjoyed Omega's introduction into the series. In the beginning, I wasn't really sure about her character, but then as the episode goes, I think she really grew on me. So she gives me that sense of that really starry-eyed kid, sort of Luke on Tatooine, Luke as the farm boy, or Anakin as when he was on Tatooine. That sort of dreamy-eyed stare that you get when you is sort of the same feeling that I get when I see Omega as a character. And in particular, the scene where sort of at the end where we find out that it's Omega's first time in space, and or as she says, it's her first time anywhere really. You really get that sort of call to adventure sense within that character. I also really enjoyed Kanan's cameo, especially in the early parts of the episode. Now, if you follow Rebels or you're a fan of the Rebels TV show, you'll know that Kanan is a character that's, has a lot of depth behind him. And when we're introduced to Kanan during Rebels, we get the sense that, he's a character that is tortured or tormented by his past as a Jedi, having gone through Order 66. And he expresses a particular distaste for clones during certain episodes, although he sort of resolves that later down the line. But nonetheless, during this Bad Batch episode, we can really get the sense of why he feels the way he feels and why he becomes the man he does in Rebels or in the later era. Now, there were a few things that I didn't like or I thought could have been done better. Now, the first thing was the pacing. I did feel that the pacing was a little slow at times, especially in roughly the middle of the episode. I did feel that they could have sped things along a little bit. Also, I felt that we didn't really get to see much of Order 66, to be honest. We get to see a little bit with sort of Kanan and his master Depa Billaba, but we don't really get the sense of, that confrontation of, what does the Bad Batch as a team do during the time of Order 66. It sort of goes over really, really fast, and the only two characters that sort of really have to handle the situation is Crosshair and Hunter. Now, I understand that, they probably want to move the story forward, but I thought it would have been nice to, increase the tension by showing more scenes with Order 66, or more scenes where the entire team experiences a longer period of time of going through Order 66. Now, I also expected to actually cover a lot more during this episode, especially given how long this particular length is. Now, the average Bad Batch episode is going to be about half an hour or so. And so obviously with this one, the duration of time I believe is around 170 minutes. So obviously it's a much longer, premiere, it's the first episode, so I really expected that they would cover a lot more ground during this episode. However, it's quite restricted. I think we're stuck for a long time on Kamino, and this goes back to what I was talking about earlier about the pacing of the episode. Now, even though I have sort of, these concerns, they're really minor concerns. I think overall the episode is really well done. I really enjoyed it. I really look forward to see how the Bad Batch will resolve their conflict with Crosshair. And in particular, I really look forward to sort of developing and, discovering more about the character of Omega. What is it that she actually does? Maybe a bit more clarity on what sort of defects or, I guess, genetic mutations that she has beyond just being a female clone. I think that would be a really interesting topic that I'm sure the series moving forward is going to cover. And in the few action scenes that we do get, I think it really helps serve as a reminder to audiences as to what each of these characters can do and what are the specialities of each of these characters. Now, I know obviously the Bad Batch has been introduced in Season 7 of the Clone Wars, but it just serves as a really nice reintroduction to what these characters are all about. So as I said again, overall, I'm really seriously looking forward to the next episode, which I think comes out on this same week as well. So be sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment down below. I'm really looking forward to hear what you guys think about this particular episode and what we would potentially be seeing moving forward in the series. That's all for today. I am the Lost Acolyte.
And I have spoken.